Hi guys, quick video. Cast your mind back 41 years, there was a game called Mr.Frosty and the Killer Penguins. Probably the most difficult game on the 64. Definitely back in 85 anyway. Absolute nightmare for the first level. Most people didn't get off level 1. Now, somebody did, and I managed to grab a video of somebody actually completing this entire game. So why the reason for this? Well, because it was so difficult, really. I always thought, I mean, graphically for 85 as well. I mean, you're getting into that after like 3 year period. People are starting to understand the 64 and graphics and whatever. And yeah, I think you had games coming out like Rambo even in about 85 or whatever it was. So graphically, it's not the best. Playability wise, yeah, Collision is unforgiving. The difficulty on level 1 for most people was just absolutely infuriating. I thought, can we do something better than this game? I'm just going to play through a bit of this video with this like little playthrough. So this was written by Scorpio Games World, a guy called David Broadhurst. Now, so you can see from it, you've got Frosty at the bottom there with his little hat on. This actually playthrough. This guy who's done it, he's playing it really well, but it's absolutely super frustrating. And he actually manages to get through this entire game. I don't know how many attempts he took, but it's yeah. So you've got so many snowballs to collect on each screen, and then basically what the idea is, you're building 2 or 3 other snowmen. I don't know if actually snowmen family or something, Frosty's family, but you collect these snowballs on each screen, and you build up snowmen at the end of the game. So, despite the bland looking graphics, you've got obviously you've got your snowmen there, and you've got these things flapping that are supposed to be the penguins. You've got some travelators, you've got ladders which go up, so you just like sort of ascend them up in one go rather than having to climb on it. So probably cuts down on the sprite usage at the time, I would imagine. Obviously the author's taking decisions on design on how he wanted to do this, implement it. But yeah, it's obviously graphically by today's standards it's nothing, is it? But there's all sorts of little quirks and bugs in this game as well, which make it even more frustrating. See, on this screen now, you don't even. This is I think the 3rd one, but we don't even have a penguin on this one, so it's a bit. I don't think it was actually going to be about killer penguins. I think the publisher added in that. I think there's an interview in a fanzine this month out with the author about it. So I think it might be in Breeze 64 or something. So you might want to check that out if you're interested in the background of this game. But yeah, so you have this little interlude stage. Again, no penguins on this next screen again. So you're just collecting, like I say, you're collecting these little snowballs in various places. You've got collapsing platforms, you've got travelators, you've got moving ladders, and you've got spikes to contend with. See there, he's just been killed. I think he's just gone back then. So you got all of this. You've got the word Scorpio at the top there as part of a climbing frame platform. So yeah, so you can see it's all these little collapsing platforms where you made the word Scorpio. And it's like you're fighting all the time to get across, and that's purely to do with the collision detection. But I'm thinking, yeah, something could be done today. I think a modern version. And then it goes to this green scheme. All of a sudden, it's haze getting warmer at the bottom. Yeah. So, with that all in mind, and again, there's no penguins, so you could probably see it was probably just going to be called Mr. Frosty, and it was just going to be a little platform game. But the the Killer Penguin tagline came in later on. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what these creatures are supposed to be. One looks like a little space invader. One looks like I don't know what, something going between it's just like a triangle and a circle, that isn't it? An oval. And then there's this thing moving up and down the screen vertically. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It almost looks like a telephone at one point, but then it looks like something like a paint roller as well. But who knows what these things are? But yeah, there's a little dance jingle there. Again, same things to avoid, but in a slightly different fashion. So it's very simplistic, but infuriating. The first level is probably the most infuriating. The remaining levels are a lot easier, and it seems like you don't have to collect all the snowballs on each screen, because sometimes there's like 6 of them, and you might only have to collect 4 or 5. So there's a bit of inconsistency. But there is a bug on that little interlude screen as well, because you've got the timer counting down. Now, if you run out of time while it's in that interlude screen, you lose a life, and I think that happens on the next screen here. So I'll just watch this through, because it's funny. Now you got this one here, where you got to avoid certain things with like the exclamation mark and whatever. There's a snowball in there. You sink down, you get another one, and it's not this one yet, because I think we've still got loads of time left, so it must be on one of the next ones. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what that is. It's a big snow monster or something. But the Killer Penguin seems to have disappeared on these later levels. Yeah. So, hence my idea for. I like the premise of it though. Simple platform game with a snowman. He's got to collect snowballs to build his family, basically. So I like the idea of that and the concept. So I think I could probably do something with that. That's the whole purpose of this video. And so, I'm just coming to the end of the new Ice Blue edition for this Christmas. I've just redesigned all. Now this is infuriating. Watch what happens here when he goes across this travelator. He can't jump because the top of the screen is stopping him from jumping. The code has already done that, saying no, you can't jump beyond this point. So frustratingly, you've got to travel at an absolute age. It takes you forever just to get across this travelator. And meanwhile, your time limit is creeping down. This is absolutely probably the most infuriating part of the game. You thought when you're designing this, you'd know. It's like, really? And then watch that time limit creeping down. Like, will he get there? Will he get there in time? Will he run out of time? It's like, it's just laughable, isn't it? So I think really the average score for this will probably get 1 or 2 out of 5 on most, or 2 out of 10 on most forums and whatever. It's so difficult, and it just about gets there. And look now, watch this time limit here. Watch the lives. Look at the lives over there. It says lives free. He's doing his little dance. Bing. So the time limit's just gone down, and now he's gone to 2 lives. How unfair is that? Oh dear. So anyway, Mr. Frosty. Okay, we'll stop that there. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, what have I been working on? Okay. So with all that in mind, I thought let's do a rehash for the 21st century. I'm thinking, but I won't call it Mr. Frosty. I'll say that now. I don't want to tread on the guy's copyright. Although Mr. Frosty, it wouldn't surprise me if it was based on the ice drink maker. In England, we had these little Mr. Frosty machines where you could make ice drinks, and the crushed ice would fall. It was more of a kid's toy than anything, but you would get crushed ice goes in the top, I think, and then you would turn the little handle, and then you would have a crushed ice coming out into a cup, and then you would flavour it. So it was like a little drink maker, ice drink maker. So it could have been based on that. So it might not actually give a damn about if I call my version Mr. Frosty, but I wanted to call it versus the Killer Penguins rather than and the Killer Penguins. So I'm thinking more of changing his name from Mr. Frosty just to Snowy the Snowman or something. That's a work in progress. It could change, but anyway. So here we go. So at the moment, there's nothing going on other than we got plenty of snow going around. I've just taken the status panel. I've just ripped this from my Christmas Caper 2 status panel, which is in progress. And I've got a little snowman there just blinking at the moment and smiling. He'll jiggle around probably. He'll probably do a little dance once he's completed a level and stuff like that. And we got a couple of evil looking penguins. They look a bit menacing. I've changed the ladders because I did actually have ladders in an initial like sketch on this initially, but I've changed them to be like these little snow ladders, which are slightly different, but just all little single platforms. But they could move, like they could be the travelator ones as well. So I could generally move them upwards, so it's like a lift almost. And then you have the blue ones, which I figured would be collapsible, like ice ones. They break. The spikes that you saw in the original about replaced with these little icy prongs coming down here. So I've got that there. Obviously the snowballs, similar design to the ones I had in Christmas Caper. It's just about reusing stuff I've used before, but obviously the hut's new. I quite like the little house he's got. I'll probably have some smoke coming out the chimney maybe for effect. And so how Snowy moves, runs, how quickly, and how high he jumps, that's all to be decided. But I've gone from chunky platforms like in Christmas Caper, which were like 2x2. I've gone down to a single level, which I'm quite pleased with now. I wanted to do that for Christmas Caper 2. So this is going to just evolve and it'll feed into Christmas Caper 2 anyway. So what I'm doing here is all for good reason. People think so, and some people say I start these things and then what's the purpose of having an unfinished like project or something? But all the projects I'm doing, which have been are part for various reasons, and that's because I'm working on bits of code in the background that will feed back in, and I'll break off and I'll speak to people, like I'll speak to people who've written games or are writing games, and I'll discuss things with them, and then I'll go back to things at a later date when I've got time, and I'll just rewrite little bits. And it's like this snow routine now is taking next to no raster time because I've the way I've implemented it. So this is a genuine improvement on the one from the last Christmas Caper game. So that helps the game overall because then I've got more raster time to do other things. So whether I put a fully featured sprite multiplexer into this one rather than a zonal one, I mean that could easily be done now. So again, it's just reworking of code, and I've got a library of routines I've built up now after the last couple of years of working on the Christmas Cape game. Obviously I can take routines from that and just lift it and push it into this with some modified tweaking. I mean, how many screens, how many levels I'd make for this game, I have no idea. But I think I've got a basis of something now. So I'm quite happy with how it looks. It's like graphically, I'm quite pleased how it's developing, and that's just from like a little. Basically, I've done all this platform layout here. This has just been done this morning. Really, this is just like 30, 40 minutes work, and then I had the hut drawn previously, the little house. I did that previously as a mock-up some time ago. But the penguin I'd done. I was going to feature the penguin in the Christmas Caper game. But I'd been thinking about this game. It'd been in the back of my mind. I thought, how can I draw an evil penguin? So I think the penguin may make an appearance in Christmas Caper 2. with the elves. So it could feature in the new Ice Blue edition, which is out on December 1st. So I've not decided yet. I'll just put it in as a side for the elves, or maybe the later stages, because I've got flying elves in there, but I've never really used them. So I might just take out the flying elves and put a penguin in there just to spice things up. But they look sinister enough, and they'll probably like spit something at you if you get too close, which is easily done. And Snowy might be able to throw snowballs back at the penguins just to stun them or something. I think that might be an idea. So there's again, I think there's lots of ideas, lots of scope to do something with this, I think. But I don't think it would take too much time to get something up and running. I think this is probably a doable for me. So I'm just going to see how it goes in the next few weeks and months. Once I've got the music written for the new Ice Blue Edition Christmas game, so it'll all be like a Christmassy jingly theme now going into that new version. So, but that's pretty much the last thing to do with it and the play testing. So that won't take me too much time. So once that's out of the way, I could probably go to this and I could probably just get something up and running, get a first level going. Once all Snowy's walking animations and stuff are all done, get the penguins walking around. Maybe some of them won't walk. Maybe some of them will be static and they'll just wait for you, or they'll walk very, very slowly, and then they might flap the wings or something when they get agitated. But I think there's definitely something in there anyway. So Snowy versus the killer penguins. I think that's probably something that's going to be on its way to a 64 at some point. When, can't say specifically. If I can have enough time to do things this year, maybe, you never know. But I will be working on it in the background, and then because I've got most of the code, like I say, already written, so it's just a case of stitching it all together, really. So yeah, let me know your thoughts anyway on a new game. It's I think there's something there. It's obviously it's not Quasimodo, so it's a break from Quasi. I keep everything I refer to, it's got Quasimodo in my mind all the time. But yeah, I think there is something genuinely there. So what other things will go on? Whether you can just any other collectibles and stuff. I think probably you're building 3 snowmen. Like a snowman family, then there might be a few other objects to collect as well. You could collect a spade, you could collect a scarf to decorate them with, and a hat and a carrot and something like that maybe. So, and this status panel will probably change appropriately depending on where I take the game. But it's yeah. So I've got ideas for the little travelators. I think they could be done, like an icy travelator or something. But yeah, and then get some animation on some of these bushes or whatever, like a Christmas bush or something. But yeah, I think it doesn't have to be like a Christmas game. It can just a winter themed game, can it? This so, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with the direction it's going anyway. So anyway, this was just like a little preview of this project. I'll put out updates later on in the year. So let me know your thoughts, and whatever you're doing, have a good day, and I will see you in another video. Okay, cheers for now. Bye.